Good morning. Oh, more like good evening, because packing up extremely late, but I am attempting to pack up for my Myrtle Beach trip. This is a view of my room, the messiness behind it all. This trip has been a long time coming. Me and a group of friends have been planning it for about a year at this point. And yeah, this is the mess that I have in my suitcase right now that I'm gonna prepare to kind of pack up at this moment. But yeah, super excited for this. Our schedules took a while to align, but we made it work. And right now I'm attempting to put some pants in, but I put in a lot of fun activities that we did do and some of the stuff we didn't do. A little bit of an overpacker, but I would rather be more prepared than less prepared. So just kind of looking into what I like to do. So we brought some games and then some kites. But for the most part, we decided to do some shopping while we were also there to have some more fun. But yeah, and so we kind of packed up late at night, and we had to just kind of keep on moving along so that we can get to the airport in time. Here's the airport. So Austin Airport was really nice and serene during that time, and just took a little while to just walk back and forth and enjoy the views. It was about like 1 a.m. when we were down in the airport, so almost like a ghost town, but I really appreciated it. The drive down was also really nice and serene. I just wanted to show like everything that's empty, but it's one of the prettier airports I've been in the United States. I personally really like a lot of small little airports going throughout the United States. The bigger ones tend to, you get lost in a lot. So yeah, here's a Pokemon vending machine, which I thought was pretty cool. There's a lot of like hipster related items around the area, so I thought that was pretty funny as well. Yeah, so speaking of which, they had a bear that said, "Don't feed the hipsters," and Austin good times, so it was pretty cool. And then the bar that they had a bunch of travel related cocktails, which we thought were really cool. Unfortunately, they were closed, so we headed up on our flight. Super excited, planning this trip for a while. My boyfriend and I were there. I finally landed. Texas, there's not really a lot of trees, so it was actually really cool to see a bunch of trees when we were landing down. Finally went down and caught up with our friends, went in a van that we rented together, and the sights were already so pretty. We saw a lot of mini golf areas. Decided to pull over nearby at a grocery store right next to the Airbnb and do some shopping right before check-in time. So we had a lot of fun just picking up lots of fun drinks and then food, of course, as well as just a lot of breakfast items and things that everyone else can eat, because each of us have a very special dietary restriction, kind of like a Power Ranger with their special powers. I myself can't have most lactose foods. So here's us coming into the Airbnb. It's a beautiful Airbnb. It had about 3 full rooms and 1 sunroom, and in each of the rooms there were at least 2 beds, if not 3. And back here, this beautiful, beautiful porch that they had showed basically this really nice fountain. I'm pretty sure it's to keep the mosquitoes away, but it looks beautiful nonetheless. And the temperature during this time in the year for Myrtle Beach and South Carolina in general was beautiful. It was always between 65 to 80 degrees at most, so we made the most of it. And right next door was also the common area where they had indoor and outdoor pool. We shortly went into that, and they also had a grill and a campfire place. So later on in the day, we ended up heading over to a place called Broadway at the beach. It was a little bit a mile away from the actual beach itself, but it's a beautiful area, super well decorated. Of course, beachy themes, but they also had a lot of Ripley's Believe It or Not stuff there too. So super kid friendly. Had a nice lake in the center, but it was just really, really great at this time, just catching up with all of our friends, talking about just what's going on in our lives. It's because a lot of us are working professionals, especially in the healthcare field. It's just very hard to put all of our schedules together, but once we're out of our main training, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of these vacations. So we finally got to the Broadway at the beach. So first place we landed on was Ripley's Aquarium. We unfortunately didn't have enough time to actually visit it because we just had so much catching up to do. But there is beautiful. We walked over closer to kind of the central lake area, kind of in the back right there with the red lettering. It'll come a little bit more in clarity, but you'll see Paula Deen's restaurant right there. And I really like all of the trees and shrubbery that they had in the area. I tried to make the place look open and natural. And you see this Ferris wheel in the background. This is like, I'm pretty sure, the third Ferris wheel I saw in Myrtle Beach throughout my stay. So it looks like Myrtle Beach really likes mini golf and Ferris wheels. So that was really interesting. You could see a little bit more of the carnival rides. So this area is separate from the actual boardwalk itself. It's a little bit calmer, more like an outlet mall than a proper beach boardwalk. There were some hotels nearby, as well as a ton of restaurants too. One of which we ended up going to. It's called the Hangout. It was an indoor-outdoor sort of area where you would have a concert playing and people would be dancing on top of the chairs and everything. I'll show footage of that area. So this is the back of the Hangout, and right in the center is the lake where you could see some people doing paddle boats, swan-shaped paddle boats. And then there was also an area where you could see some jet skiing as well. We kind of window shopped around the area, saw some nice little trinkets and sweets, which we thought were pretty interesting and very local to the area. Yeah, so we ended up going in this shop called It's Sugar, and it kind of is a Asian / Japanese theme sweet shop. They had a lot of really interesting things there. And as someone who's been to Japan back in 2016, it was actually kind of nostalgic. So they had a nice little Pusheen, the cat area, and We also were looking at all of the displays of the sweets, and the lady on the side there was given some really nice samples as well of some form of sour candy. Kind of tasted like the Sour Patch watermelons. But yeah, this type of stuff really reminded me of Japan. It was all the cutesy and pink. I really love pink and cutesy stuff, so it was really nice. So the next door we went to another shop which had a lot of very interesting trinkets. Very Asian inspired, a lot of ceramic stuff. And this beautiful snake. We were just kind of admiring the dragons and the snakes and everything. They also had these globes, which I still to this day don't understand exactly how they're moving, because it looks like the outside is still, but the inside is rotating. But yeah, this was like the really odd sort of tea kettles and watering cans in the shape of dogs and hippos. That just was so fascinating to me. If it weren't for the fact that I overpacked, I may have taken one of these types of trinkets. They just looked so bizarre, but like in a fun way. And glass sculpture stuff was really beautiful as well. We went towards the back and saw that upside down building is actually a museum as well. We unfortunately didn't get time to see it, but we took a lot of pictures around that area before we headed out. I'm going to show you some pictures of the hangout during the morning time, how that kind of looks. Yeah, so there's that outdoor area and that indoor areas where a lot of people were standing on tables and throwing dollar bills around, so it was pretty interesting. Yeah. People were blowing bubbles back there. So now, the real event, the beach. So on the second day, we went out to the beach, and all of that food prep and drink prep that we did, caused us to kind of go more towards the afternoon time frame, but it was perfect because the weather was a little bit on the chillier side during the morning. So we camped out and got a place that during the low tide was perfect, but during the high tide was a little bit of a different story. But yeah, it was awesome. The water was slightly cold, but 100% manageable once your body got used to it. We flew some kites while we were there, and I brought various different types of kites as well. It's so nice and peaceful to just be at the beach. It's like nature gives you such a nice reset, especially after a stressful day or weeks or months or even years of work. It's just really nice to kind of experience this side of nature. So really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. We used some of our drinks as kind of social currency to meet up with other people on the beach, and this is an example of one of the dragon kites we had. I also had an octopus kite that unfortunately ended up flying away. So RIP octopus kite. And then that's the whale kite that we had earlier. Later on in the day, the low tide not slowly but quickly engulfed us in water, so we had to leave. So the next day we ended up coming to a mini golf place called Ripley's Believe It or Not Mini Golf. We converted ourselves to the Myrtle Beach Mini Golf Cult. This place was really interesting, had a lot of neon and unusual type of courses. One of them was like a pool table, but mini golf. So it was really, really interesting. They had different types of sculptures. One of them looked like a toilet, which I thought was pretty funny. Afterwards, on the last day, we had some really nice Brazilian food. Well, like everything in life, things have to start going to an end. So we started heading back over to the airport in North Carolina, actually. Got lucky that our flight got canceled and got rescheduled in North Carolina instead. We had some best friends that we were able to catch up with. We haven't seen in a long, long while. And got to do some house tours that were very much overdue. Overall, I'm so happy that we got to go on this trip, and it was really refreshing for the soul and for everyone else's mental health as well as physical health. And it just makes me really think about what's important in life ultimately. So I really hope that you get to experience a nice trip with your closest friends sometime soon. Drop a comment below if you want to kind of indulge in some stories, some fun little stories. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you so much, and have a great day.